the Arizona Cardinals are serious about winning, then they got to get serious about this coaching search. 2 more interviews added. One of them's really pissing people off. And the latest on John Harbaugh.
Yeah, is it time? Due time to open up the checkbook if you're Michael Bidwill. Public perception may be tough. Money fixes everything. PHNX Cardinals starts now.
Let me toss to it too. Hold on.
Hey, welcome in. Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, the premier, #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. It's as the coaching search turns and Cardinals wasting more time. They've added some new candidates. Some might say, Bo, too many candidates.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, what are we at? Officially 7 reported interview requests. We're starting to see some get already on the docket. 2 interviews for Friday. We'll get into who those are. But, of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. It's never ordinary. Use the code PHNX365, and when you deposit $10, bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. Johnny, we're excited to give you the latest on the coaching search. But first, we got a little message from our friends. We do have a message upcoming from our friends at ALLCITY. We'll get into that in just a moment. But what's up to everybody in the chat? I see you there. The super chats are already flowing. Jack, I see you. Ozzy, Ken Weber, Deb, what's going on? Art Smith, Naheem. We got Dana, Sports Hero, Tej, Luis, Perez, Mike D, Bees. How we doing? Claymore Jones, Schaff, as always, KR Gordon, David. The entire squad is here, and we're excited about it to talk some Cards ball.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We've had a series of banner shows to begin this week. We are not stopping. This train moves on as the Arizona Cardinals. This is day 3 of not having a head coach. Who would have thought we would be here after, maybe some of you. Sunday night, we assumed Jonathan Gannon would be back. He assumed he would be back. Blindsided is the word that I believe those close to Jonathan Gannon would suggest. And here we are on January 7th. Gannon, I would imagine, is going to get DC opportunities. The Cardinals, though, they're looking for an upgrade in their eyes. They're looking for somebody that can help them win as soon as this season. And they did not believe that was Jonathan Gannon. And you guys made your voices heard on that. And the Cardinals heard you. Now it becomes, okay, don't make the move to just make the move, right? Is the hangover effect real with this team? I would say yesterday, my answer would have been no. I would have been like, okay, they're proactive. They're making moves that signify top candidates could come here. Dare I say, want to come here, right? Write a big fat check. We sit here, though, on January 7th, and I would say that the inquiries that have happened today cast doubt on that, Bo Brack. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. I think they've taken a lot of luster from, the confidence that I think yesterday kind of breathed into this coaching search. It's like, okay, Michael Bidwill on Black Monday, after firing Jonathan Gannon, said it was about wins and losses and that they're serious about winning. Some of these names on this list, a lot of these names on this list, they just don't inspire any kind of hope or seriousness when it comes to wanting to win football games.
Retreads come to mind. Guys that are recycled, names that you expect every hiring cycle. We're going to talk about Jim Harbaugh here in a little bit, but let's bring up the names that were added today. No, man, let's see it. The Cardinal list of coaching candidates, as reported by the media. This is not everybody. If you remember our time in 2023, we didn't know anything about Jonathan Gannon outside of a report on this show by Benjamin Albright for the majority of the coaching search. Was not in the discussion. Vance Joseph yesterday, Anthony Weaver, Robert Saleh, and Clint Kubiak and Thomas Brown were all announced on Tuesday. Today, you woke up to the news that Chiefs QB coach Matt Nagy, OC QB coach, will interview with the Cardinals, as will Raheem Morris, ex-head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. So we look at that, Bo. Let's cut Nagy first.
Sure.
I tried to be positive this morning. That was a mistake.
How dare you?
I just said, well, he's got a winning record. He's tied to a bunch of jobs. There's a reason for that we're going to get to.
Right.
He won with Mitch Trubisky. It's not my first choice. It's certainly not my second choice. He's not in the A tier. But, we'll see how it goes. He keeps getting hired. Man, that was napalm to Twitter this morning. I would say universally, Matt Nagy is the most disliked candidate thus far for the Cardinals.
It is pretty wild considering when you do look at his resume, when you look at his record, right? When he's got 2 playoff appearances under his belt, he's got a 12-win season, and then he's got a pair of 8-8 seasons sandwiched in between. What got him fired 6-11, and then they pivoted to Matt Eberflus before making their way to Ben Johnson, who's got them rolling now. But Matt Nagy, I knew he was going to be, let's just say, a polarizing pick or interview request that was going to be reported. But I thought, Vance Joseph was going to take the crown for the most disliked interview request yesterday. But no, I don't think it was close. I mean, to me, it was like universally like no on Matt Nagy. And that's the nicest way people have said it. Like there's F-nos out there. There's, back to I'm not going to be a fan of this team again. Like we talk about, the juice meter. This is negative. That would be a negative juice hire for the Arizona Cardinals. And it takes down the list, I guess, like when you see it.
Because the list down the GPA.
Yeah. The list yesterday was Vance Joseph. It had, Thomas Brown added to it yesterday. You had, who else was on it early?
Anthony Weaver.
Yeah, Anthony Weaver. Before Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak made their way to the list, it was very uninspiring. It was it was less than mid. So I think that it was interesting to see that Matt Nagy was the most hated of so far the 7 candidates. But when you are unsuccessful in a high profile position like he was in Chicago, and they're very outspoken about it, it bleeds into the rest of the NFL and the fans just around the other 31 fan bases. And I think like nobody liked to watch the Bears fans hated Matt Nagy. Thus everybody else is like, okay, well, we'll hate him too.
And I remember he was like disliked with press conferences. He didn't come off well, especially toward the end. We don't need more of that.
Right.
And you have to have a presence about you. You gotta win on the press conference and then win on Sundays. It's a hard combination, but certain guys can do it. I don't think this is a serious inquiry. The more that you hear about Nagy around the NFL, it feels like this was agent fueled early on because of information that came out today. I don't know where it's by Nate Taylor, who covers the Kansas City Chiefs for ESPN, said that Nagy is unlikely to return to the Chiefs. So why would it be in Nagy's agent's best interest to say weeks ago? I've heard Nagy's name weeks ago for like the Titans job and the Giants job. It's because they want to get his name out there.
Yeah.
So how on earth could you say that Matt Nagy would be a head coaching candidate for your franchise when the Chiefs don't even want him as offensive coordinator?
Right.
You see some of these instances, like I would include Anthony Weaver in that as well. Anthony Weaver is being interviewed by the Arizona Cardinals. because if the Cardinals hire a young offensive coach and Mike McDaniel is fired and Anthony Weaver is available, that they could have an opportunity to hire Anthony Weaver. Thomas Brown, the same thing. Thomas Brown's being interviewed by the Cardinals. If they get a Saleh or somebody else as their head coach, that you would have a candidate to come in and be your offensive coordinator. And that's not uncommon. But these guys that are clearly, I mean, there are red flags with these guys to turn around. Like, say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. Well respected in the NFL. If he had just won a couple more flipping games, he would be here right now. He 3-14, you should never be safe, right?
Right.
Anybody would have said before this season that Gannon is an upgrade over the large majority of these guys. Now, it's very much a what have you done for me lately league. But there a lot of this is being agent driven. A lot of this is the Cardinals checking their boxes with the guys that they feel like could be coordinators, and also Kubiak and Saleh are both in the playoffs this week, as is Vance Joseph. So you're trying to get ahead on that as well.
Well, not Kubiak. I mean, Kubiak can interview.
Oh, yeah, because he's got
sooner rather than later. But Saleh, not till next Tuesday, I believe, is the earliest he could speak with any team. All right, okay. Let's pull back up the whiteboard that Monti Ossenfort has going here. I believe this is straight from the facility. We have our spies there in Tempe. So if we look at it under the guise of what you just outlined, right, where some of these guys are interviews for the head coaching position, but could be interviews more likely for a top coordinator spot. If we were to try to weed that out, I would say that I feel a little bit more comfortable with this list then.
Right.
Like if Weaver and Brown and Nagy are all guys that are going to be under the interviewing for head coach, but could be coordinator options, I feel a lot better of it, because then it takes your list down to Saleh, Kubiak, and then you got, Morris and Joseph that I think you have to fade.
Right. Now it becomes the next tier, guys. Let's talk about Raheem Morris. You and I talked off air. We would prefer Raheem Morris over Vance Joseph.
Slam dunk.
Easily.
Yeah.
Not our first choice. I think
compared to Vance Joseph.
Right.
Raheem Morris compared to Vance Joseph. Yeah. These are our feelings.
So I took some notes here. I was texting somebody earlier. So he knows the division. That's a plus. Okay. I actually was impressed with his staff last year. Okay. You know how I felt about his defensive coordinator that did a nice job. And then he also had, I think it was, didn't he have Zach Robinson from LaFleur's staff as his OC? So again, you're talking about second tier guys. If some of the bigger names say no, Ulbrich is his defensive coordinator, who did a phenomenal job at the end of the year. Their defense was playing really well. Their defense was the opposite of the Cardinals. Everybody got better on their defense. The Cardinals got worse. So like Will Johnson, young players like Jordan Birch, Cody Simon, you want to see those players blossom. So again, I'm just contextualize it from like, number one, I don't think Raheem Morris is getting a head job. I don't think anybody's hiring him as their head coach. So if that's the case, then that should not be the Cardinals' first preference, right? Same thing we think with Vance Joseph, although there's some smoke around the Vegas Raiders. I just don't know how you go from Pete Carroll to Vance Joseph, but maybe. Like, those guys aren't getting hired by anybody.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult for you to sell your fan base on those guys being the guys.
Right. If we're jumping in the spend zone, like Raheem Morris has at least something that you can spend to your fan base. I mean, this guy's coming off 4 wins in a row to end the season.
Yeah.
And he just beat the Rams in week 17, I believe. I mean, he beat the crap out of him. He did. And, it's not me sitting here and saying, look at Raheem Morris, take a serious look at him. But at the very least, there's something there. There's something there. Like, because when you look at Raheem Morris overall, I mean, this is a guy, if he does get another head coaching job, it's going to be his third.
Which is
right?
crazy to not have a winning record and get hired 3 times.
And in his previous 2 stops, no playoff appearance. Like this is a guy that's had 2 head coaching positions in the NFC South. It was back in a different era. Like even he had a 10-win season with Tampa Bay and still were on the outside looking in. But this is a guy that's 37-56, nearly 20 games under.
Most of that was in Tampa.
Yeah.
He went 8-9 and 8-9 the last 2 years, but he played in the Dogwater NFC South. He split with the NFC West this year. He was very competitive in 3 out of the 4 games. They got boat raced by Seattle. Michael Penix was a disaster. They actually played pretty good with Kirk Cousins at the end of the year. Kirk orchestrated that 4-game winning streak. He's a fallback option that you're gonna have to talk people into. But I can look at him and say,
talking.
Right.
A lot of talking.
He had an NFL staff. His staff last year ran circles around Gannon's staff. That can't be disputed. Jeff Ulbrich, Zach Robinson, infinitely better than what the Cardinals had. Who is Vance Joseph hiring as his staff? You and me? I with all due respect to Vance, I think for the Bidwells, he's kind of like a warm blanket. It's like, oh, we loved him while he was here. And remember, during COVID, he stepped in and he carried us during Hard Knocks. And I like Vance Joseph. I actually think he's got incredibly high football character. He went back to the team that fired him, and he overcame 70 points given in a game. And look what he's done. He's a great defensive coordinator. He should not be your head coach. The Cardinals have to do better. There are only 32 of these jobs, guys.
Right.
Vance Joseph is going to come up every coaching cycle, and nobody's going to hire him.
Right. I mean, even if they hire Vance Joseph, the question becomes, like, if they hire Vance Joseph, when they inevitably fire him in 3 years, do they interview Vance Joseph then too?
There was a tweet that came from our guy Pat from NBC Sports, and he goes, the Cardinals are the most likely team to interview somebody that they previously fired. And to be like, wait a minute, Cliff Kingsbury, you got a nice resume here. Do we get him in the building?
Right. In the Walker, I get that. Players love VJ. I remember the last time we were here.
Great. Awesome.
Johnny put out it wasn't a...
Oh, yeah, let's bring this up.
Johnny wasn't exactly being disrespectful, but he was giving his thoughts on giving a no to Vance Joseph, and Buda Baker took exception to it on the social media
the tweet, though.
But what is VJ just a favor to the owner? Is that what this is? I mean, because
Ossenfort, you're going to get fired if you hire Vance Joseph.
Right. But it is when he's sitting there and they're trying to pick up the pieces, the fallout from parting ways with a guy that I know, like, I'm going to say it here, I'll preface, not enough wins. It was a wins and losses thing, but Jonathan Gannon, I'm sure it left a mark on both Ossenfort and Bidwill when they're trying to regroup and they put together their list. Is it Bidwill that floats that name out there?
Man, probably.
I think so.
We liked Vance. Yeah. Let's talk about the dynamic of Bidwill and his perception around the NFL post the Gannon firing, because I think it's an important discussion to have, and it could impact who they're able to secure. We hope not, but it's a big conversation that we're going to discuss right around the corner. It's PHNX. Hit that like button for our friends at Bet365. Right now, check the odds for Bet365 future head coach. And, of course, we've got Tip-Off Tuesday in the NBA, a little NBA action. Anybody who dabbled last night with our friends on Bet365 got a qualifying bonus bet, $10. And, of course, new customers are going to get hooked up right now. We told you, hey, NFL season, perfect time to jump in. It's not too late. We've got playoff football this weekend. 200 in bonus bets right now for new customers. All you got to do, sign up. Bonus code PHNX365. Win or lose, place a $10 bet, deposit $10, place a $5 bet. You get 200 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on just about anything. Spreads, totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. I've got some leftover bonus bets. I'm putting them all on Philadelphia this week. I like Robert Saleh a lot, but I don't like him enough to go into Philly and win with Brock Purdy. Download the app today. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
If you've been in a serious accident, who you hire as your lawyer is very important. Do your research. Couldn't recommend that enough. And also, I can't recommend enough hiring the husband and wife law team. That's right. Mark and Alexis Breyer. You know, they're unbelievable. Legit attorneys, and also extremely online, hilarious social media follow, adding some levity to sometimes very serious situations and cases. But the good thing is it shows there's some personality behind, of course, the lawyers, right? The legit lawyer facade that they have. They're actual human beings, not billboards and suits. And that matters because if you've been in an accident, you don't want just a law firm. You want people you can trust. They've been serving Phoenix for years, decades, raised their family here. Family of 8, by the way, a family of 10, I think 8 kids. They bring the same transparency and straight talk to their cases. No runaround, no phone tag, just real access and real answers. So, yeah, check out their social media. But also, if you've been in a serious accident, if there's been you're around a wrongful death, you already know exactly who you're calling. It's the husband and wife law team. That's right, 602-783-8841, or visit the link in the show notes. It's the husband and wife law team.com. Now, Johnny, a message from our friends over at ALLCITY, what we're all about.
There are few things in life that can truly bring us together. Few things that can lift us to our feet and bring us to our knees. Few things that can be analyzed, internalized, socialized, even spiritualized. It gives us identity. It gives us purpose. It makes us believe. There's nothing better. To the sickos, the diehards, the supporters, the hooligans, to the rowdiest, the most obsessed, the fans. For us and all those like us, it will always be sports over everything.
Okay, thanks for that. All right, back to our discussion about the head coach of this team. Let's jump back into what we talked about before the break. Everybody hit that like button. We're back. Right. We're not going anywhere now. The Arizona Cardinals have inquiries out to Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak. They have not confirmed with Clint Kubiak yet to have an interview. Robert Saleh, we think, is scheduled via the NFL.com waiver presser, whatever it is you found this morning. But there is a perception right now with Michael Bidwill. There's a perception right now with previously what happened with Jonathan Gannon. There's a perception right now with the, everything that's gone on with their facilities and 32 out of the NFLPA. Give me your assessment, and do you think it's going to hamper their ability to get a top head coach? Because here's where I'm at. I'll give you my 2 cents quickly. There are 7 openings. There's one great one, Baltimore. Every other one of these openings has major issues. Tennessee's ownership, the Giants GM ownership, everything about the Browns, right? There are issues everywhere. Raiders, right? Tom Brady, his involvement after they did Pete Carroll dirty. None of these openings are perfect outside of Baltimore.
Right.
So I just feel like you can make an argument, yes, that it's Michael Bidwill could have handled that Gannon thing differently. Do not make him feel like he's safe until the last minute if he truly intended to move off.
Right.
But at the same time, there are only 32 of these jobs.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. I mean, and you can say like the perception is more of a reputation, right? Is it a bad reputation? I mean, I don't think that 3 years of having, what feels like guys in the building that are respected around the league, despite what's going on as far as wins and losses, because you still haven't had a whole lot of wins to garner a ton of respect from around.
Right.
But I think that Bidwill's reputation was worse 3 years ago.
You think so?
I do. I believe that. Has it gotten much better? I couldn't tell you. I mean, I only can tell you what, we heard from the previous coach. He was beloved from Jonathan Gannon. I mean, I'm sure all the way up until he was pulled into his office, right? And then he told him something he didn't want to hear for the first time. But
I avoided conflict because he liked him so much.
Right. For the most part, from what we were heard, like Michael Bidwill was open to listening and accommodating whatever requests Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon had. And I think that goes a certain amount of ways. And then also the fact that Bidwill does own an NFL organization that, as you said, is just one of 32. It's, as far as what your earning potential and just the ability to cut your teeth or continue on, and these guys who are getting a second or a third chance, he just presents an opportunity that there aren't a lot of. So is Michael Bidwill a massive deterrent and going to be a deal breaker for some of these coaches? I think that there's probably a lot of tough talk like that when we're in the beginning stages, but when it comes down to offers being made and being the Cardinals and maybe not a whole lot else, I don't think that coach has much to, like, the idea of going back to becoming a coordinator. I think that Bidwill and the Cardinals would probably win that battle more often than not.
I think that I agree with you. I think that people don't consider the fact that they don't fire coaches midseason. Woody Johnson fired Robert Saleh midseason. Woody Johnson has publicly shamed Robert Saleh. Michael Bidwill, to me, I do think that. What are you laughing at?
It was just such a good chat that he just kind of like slapped. He's AZ Tech. Bidwill slaps the stadium. This baby's upgraded Wi-Fi, John.
Let's talk
me a little bit.
Let's talk pros.
Yeah,
state-of-the-art stadium, A+ place to live, new facility unless you're going to get fired in your first season with the team, you're going to be a part of the new facility. Mm-hmm. That's going to be done. Would I say stadium, location, facility, top draft pick, young team, don't have a bunch of old aging players like a couple of years ago. Negatives are Bidwill's perception, which you have either on the record or hearsay, no quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
And the division. But here's what I'll say. Oh, and there's the private jet too.
Yeah.
The division thing, like, I don't want to coach, and this is going to come off as like Johnny fanboy. I don't really want a coach that is concerned about playing these other three coaches. Like, Bruce Arians came here and didn't worry about that when it was Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll and eventually Sean McVay. Like, it's cliche to be like, oh, does Clint Kubiak, can he compete? Does he want to compete with those guys? Like, if you don't have that kind of, to pull a JG-ism, like fire in your gut to go and compete against the best in this division, like, the Cardinals can't hear, like, the Cardinals can control many things that they are not good at. We've outlined them many times. They can't control who's in their division.
Right.
And you're not, I mean, you're hearing that about the Raiders right now too. And it's just like, at the end of the day, the cream rises to the top. If you're going to bet on yourself, you can come here and win. And one thing that Bo and I have been consistent on, and we'd be naive to push back on this now, is that, as my co-host just said, at the tenure of Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort, everything that we have heard from Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort on camera and behind the scenes is like their ability to go out and get players and build this roster has not been impeded by Michael Bidwill. Like, is there training staff under a microscope after this year? Absolutely. Are they looking at the field? No doubt about it. But like, they picked the players. Monti Ossenfort picked the players. Jonathan Gannon picked his staff. Jonathan Gannon was on a golf course and found out they were losing Clayton Adams. I'll tell this story now. I don't give him an F. And then found out They were losing Clayton Adams. Picked up the phone to Michael Bidwill and said, this is what it's cost to get Justin Fry. We need Justin Fry. We got the Bears after him, a bunch of other teams, and they had it done that day. And he told us that story because that was right around when the NFLPA grades were announced. And so, like, I think that a lot can be like they are not a good team right now. The perception is bad, but they don't need to settle either. They might need to overpay, but you would rather overpay than turn around and be like, God, we got to eat Vance Joseph's contract in 18 months.
Right. Well, it also goes into like the patience that, ownership and in the front office gave Jonathan Gannon last offseason when they were looking for a defensive line and pass rush coach, where they thought they were going to hire one defensive line coach.
Yeah.
And he ended up going elsewhere. And they had a pass rush coach that they had in line. And they're like, and Gannon was like, well, I'm not going to hire this pass rush coach because it doesn't mix well with the defensive line coach that we're going to go to as option B.
Right.
And he kind of just scrapped the whole thing and started from scratch. And like, they didn't have those positions filled. He didn't get any flack about it. He had basically full autonomy as far as his coaching staff. I don't know if word travels quick enough maybe to fix the reputation of Michael Bidwill. I think that's something that you could probably, if you just get somebody in the building, you could convey. I mean, there's still a lot of red flags surrounding ownership in this organization, and it's going to until they prove otherwise. This is a team that hasn't had a head coach in place beyond 6 years in its existence.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's a revolving door, and we know that Bidwill wants to find some sort of continuity as far as that position goes. But he had some non-negotiables for him that I hate how he went about it, right? But at the same time, me and everybody who follows football can't disagree with the move he ultimately made. The team went 3-14 and regressed horribly in the final month of the season.
It was a product you could not tell.
They were hemorrhaging season ticket holders. So it's just like, okay, if you want to point to him and say, hey, that needs to continue to pile on his reputation, I would say that part is probably a little bit unfair, even though I don't want to go to bat that much for, defending Bidwill there. Yeah.
I mean, like, they got to win. You got to win games.
Yeah.
You have to win games. And like, that's right. Fix his reputations. I mean, Bidwill's reputation, like through the Arians years, was strong. I feel like compared to his dad, and then he has hit a down patch, and the issues with the off the field can't be debated. They are what they are. They're real, and we acknowledge them, and certainly sympathize with the people that have taken up issues. That the athletic column, and certainly the players via the NFLPA. But I'm like, I still think that this is a position where, if you get the right person in here, they're going to have success. The Cardinals ownership is not going to prohibit you from winning. Mm-hmm. I feel strongly about that. It's about everything else that impacted Gannon. Injuries to players, absolutely. Inability to pivot off Drew Petzing. You don't think if Jonathan Gannon fired Drew Petzing and he went to Michael Bidwill, he's like, yeah, we're going to go get Frank Wright. What do you think Michael Bidwill would have said? I love Frank Wright. Let's go do that. Oh, Doug Peterson wants to come join the Cardinals. It's like Michael Bidwill makes mistakes. Monti Ossenfort made mistakes. Jonathan Gannon made mistakes. The problem for Jonathan Gannon is he reports to those other two individuals. Mm-hmm. And his product was on display for this year, and he won 3 games. That's what happens. So we sit here and like we've got people in San Francisco, beat reporters, saying basically poo-pooing the idea that Robert Saleh would take the Cardinal job. Oh, look out for Baltimore, but are the Cardinals a really serious threat to have Robert Saleh become their next head coach? This is from Albert Breer on SI, who, give Albert credit, was locked in on Gannon's departure from the team. Yeah. And do we have that one, Noah? Or I can read it from here we go. We got Albert Breer. Right now, guys, the Cardinals are wide open. My sense is they'll want a strong leader. Robert Saleh would check that box. Flores, who had his first head coach interview there in 2018, knocked it out of the park. I think is competent in that area too, but they're going into this without any big preconceived notions. I like the first half. I don't like the second part. Right. I want you to come in with a target. Like,
Yes.
say what you want about the Giants. The Giants are going all in for either Harbaugh with Stefanski as a backdrop, right? They feel the sense of urgency. Somehow they have a worse
It might be the opposite, man. I mean, the way that they were approaching Stefanski, they interviewed him, did dinner, and then had more conversation. What was it, today?
Yeah. So, I mean, they understand the task at hand. They're getting their ass kicked every year. They're like, this cannot continue. Monti Ossenfort, Michael Bidwill. We know who the good coaches are. We have eyeballs. We see it every week. We know who the guys who get recycled every hiring period are. Claymore Jones. We don't want another loser. We don't want in a position where we have to do the spin zone. Like, if you're going to fire Jonathan Gannon, we made this argument yesterday, Bo, get somebody in here that's going to get people bought back in. There are only so many guys that can do that.
Yeah, it'd be like an Aaron Rodgers 2023 type appearance of getting the fan base kind of back in your corner. It's like running out with the American flag, and then he's torn his Achilles and his season is done as Jets quarterback. It's like, all right, we've got your attention again, fans. Like, you haven't just abandoned us. And then it's like, we're hiring Vance Joseph. And then it's like, where'd they all go? Where is everybody gone? Like, that's the type of move. I think that, Thomas Brown, unfortunately for him, a guy that's up and coming and had a cup of coffee as an interim, Matt Nagy for sure. Like, those are the guys that are going to inspire no hope and give you negative juice. And it's the thing that you need to avoid if you were going to make that move. And I think it's like, if you're going to make the comments that you are, and I know it's those press conferences are hyperbolic. If you are serious about winning, your actions here in the next couple of weeks, as far as how you approach or how aggressively or non-aggressively you get after some of these top candidates, is going to show your fan base what you really are. And their fan base already has a pretty preconceived notion of what you are and how it has continues to be a revolving door for 120 years.
And it's crazy because, like, I don't want an unknown coach. I don't want to go into this season like fear of the unknown, but you would almost take that over a Vance Joseph. Like,
yeah, I want the devil I don't know versus
right.
The devil I know.
And again, like I say that, and it's like, I think Vance Joseph is an option for this team. I think he's an option for the Raiders. He's a fallback guy for the Giants. And then I think Michael Bidwill likes Vance Joseph, but like, Vance Joseph was 10-21 as a head coach. Vance Joseph's first year as a DC for the Broncos was atrocious.
Yeah.
He does not develop young players well. As you said yesterday, he's got Patrick Surtain on his defense. I mean, it's like...
And Zach Allen.
And it took him like a decade to develop Zach Allen. Congratulations. I'm glad it worked out. It's like, I've seen Vance Joseph against Shanahan when he's on and McVay when he's on. It ain't great, right? Like, I can say good things about Vance Joseph, the person. I think he's has great football character, and that's probably why Bidwill loves him, and he's a great communicator. I don't think he's a good head coach. I think that would be, honestly, people are going to laugh at me. I think that would be a downgrade from Jonathan Gannon.
In the sense of how you would command a locker room, I think no doubt about it. I mean, as far as where you would be X's and O's, you could make the case like, hey, this you can get that high. I mean, but Vance Joseph hadn't even reached what Jonathan Gannon did as a DC. Like, and he's close. He absolutely is close this season.
I win a Super Bowl this year, and I'll have egg on my face, and I'll admit it. I'm like, hey, maybe he's ready to do it again. Yeah. But that's just not
in the playoffs. It's like, oh, you remember what VJ did to Josh Allen to get the Broncos to the next step? It's just with Vance Joseph and a lot of these first year guys that haven't no experience. It's like, hey, we're still experimenting, and it's just like, I'm done with the experiments. Like, give this fan base something where it's just like, we're done screwing around. This is the guy. This is the voice that's going to come in, and this is going to be somebody who's going to take command in this locker room.
Yeah.
And because we've got Monti Ossenfort because we trust a little bit more of the roster than we did the staff, and we're gonna prove that.
Be serious. People think you're unserious.
Right.
Make a serious move. Like, why aren't you interviewing Mike McCarthy? Why are the Giants interviewing Mike McCarthy as like a fallback? Why aren't you talking to Mike McCarthy? Why aren't you getting Mike McCarthy in here to button up your franchise, to get you a floor? I mean, like I love talking about ceilings with guys. Can a guy win 9 games next year and get people excited about a product? Can we get competent quarterback play again? I don't want to see Vance Joseph and Jacoby Brissett sell negative tickets and win 4 games. I've seen that before. I'm over that. Mike McCarthy, call him up. Brian Flores. Nobody wants to touch Brian Flores. I feel like Brian Flores, in a weird way, Brian Flores and the Arizona Cardinals are perfect for each other. You're like, hey, toxic coach, toxic franchise, perfect. It's like Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians, afterthought, Cardinals, afterthought, perfect partnership. But they haven't talked to Flores. Right. They haven't reached out to Mike McCarthy. I mean,
nobody wants to give him a real opportunity, and nobody wants to give the Cardinals a real opportunity, right? Real chance, And it's just like, okay, well, why don't we found each other in this weird way. Let's just see if it works.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, Brian Flores and some of the pieces on defense and the way he deploys them, love to see it.
I mean, Brian Flores was in the mix in 2023, and he was in the mix in 2018. And then there's that lawsuit by Wilkes, and he's named in it. Who cares? Interview him. Talk to him. Like, give yourself a chance to. Brian Flores is a winner. He might be a hard ass, but he won 10 games in Miami when they were abysmal as a franchise, when they were tanking for Tua. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Next year, he just wins 10 games and they fire him. Well, he's since worked under Mike Tomlin and Kevin O'Connell. I don't know. I'm willing to take a risk on him because I know what the on-field product looks like. I mean, we got great guys off the field, vibes off the field, right? They need somebody who can come in and get people leaving State Farm Stadium with a pulse, leaving State Farm Stadium feeling like my team's worth a damn to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, right? Let's see that list again, Noah. Let's see that list of the candidates right now. You're telling me these Vance Joseph, and Anthony Weaver, and Thomas Brown, no thanks. Matt Nagy, get away from me. Raheem Morris, TBD. But like, again, no one else is hiring Raheem Morris this cycle. Why are you in a hurry to talk to him?
Right. Is Vance Joseph or Anthony Weaver winning a football game with Max Bromer as the quarterback? Because Brian Flores did. They outright won that. And as far as that case, I'm pretty sure Steve Wilkes didn't show up for a couple of the allegedly just didn't show up for a couple of the hearings, and I think it might be done.
Like, Brian Flores wants to be a head coach. He will take your money, Bidwill, hire him, and then just like let him do his job. Let him go to work. Let him hire a staff. Guess what he would do? He would hire staff from Kevin O'Connell's staff. Guess who the quarterback coach is for the Minnesota Vikings? Does anybody know? Let's see if the audience knows. Who's the quarterback coach for the Minnesota Vikings who's primed to be an offensive coordinator? Who's ready to take the next step? Who some people think is a future head coach? I'm going to give credit to the person who tells me who the quarterback coach is for the Vikings. It's a familiar name. Does nobody know? Josh McCown is the quarterback coach, former Cardinal quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Go get him to call your plays and get Brian Flores here to call your defense and be your defensive head coach. There's your juice. There's your pitch. Hey, former Cardinal, he's here to call plays. He's here to develop Dante Moore. Awesome. Great. Here are my season tickets. I'm ready to buy in.
Right.
It's like this isn't hard. But these retreads, stop doing it. Stop it.
Kind of wild. McCown is in Minnesota.
People are like, he's blowing people away.
Yeah, after what he did to them in 2003.
I think people forgot.
No, people in Minnesota will never forget that.
No, they're not over it. That was a great Vikings team, but I don't know. Let's get interesting. Let's be interesting.
Right.
Because right now it feels like you fired Jonathan Gannon on an impulse, and now it's like, here are my candidates. And people are like, it's like that meme, that Yankees guy doing this right here when they see that.
Right.
The Yankees meme guy.
You've lost my attention once again, and I'll check back. Like the benefit of the doubt is gone.
Right.
The only way you're going to be able to get people back in those seats is by out of nowhere winning a bunch of football games with people that with coach that nobody saw it coming.
You're wasting your time doing this.
Yep.
Let's get serious. We're getting serious around the break. We're going to go through where we think everything stands with all the openings. And, of course, we're going to talk John Harbaugh. That's coming up. Hit that like. It's PHNX. Follow us here, of course, because we're in Studio K with our friends at Circle K. I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of my favorite things that they do. They have this opportunity where you can go in and get a Polar Pop for 79 cents. You can get what's called a Froster. My son loves these for 99 cents. The Inner Circle, I challenge everybody, when you think of Circle K, think beyond just gas at a premium price. Go inside. And I just want everybody to do their make good shopping, right? Whether it's soda, whether it's Red Bull, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, whatever you want, your snacks, your cookies, your sandwiches, your pizza. It's going to save you money in a time where it's tough to be able to save money at your brick and mortar, grocery stores, major retailers. I'm always surprised, Bo. I get a receipt when I buy groceries. It's triple what I used to pay. Circle K is here to save the day. They've got the meal deal matrix, $3, $4, and $5. Of course, pizza, hot dog, tornado, Circle K breakfast sandwich. Do it right now. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. You can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 5 cents per gallon every day after the fact. You're going to be under $3 in no time. Circle K, Inner Circle Rewards. Download the app.
Love Circle K. Made my way there, filled up a truck, hit this thirst shop, and it was elite per usual. Used my membership rewards immediately. Window Depot. Now the holidays are over there in the rear view. So is the regular season of football. So why not get to that renovation home project you've been putting off? That's right. Window Depot is going to help you with the kitchen, bathroom, full remodel, because they've been serving Arizona since 2002. And while they started with just windows, they're just way more than just a window store. We're talking windows, doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, you name it, with tons of inventory, stock, and ready to pick up. And if you need something custom, they got you covered there too. Contractors love them because of their job site ready quantities, great pricing, and expert service. While do-it-yourselfers, homeowners love it because their in-house designers are free and help bring your vision to life. Check it out right now, thewindow.depot.com, thewindow.depot.com, like the Ohio State pipeline for the Arizona Cardinals. Get started on your new project today.
People are asking, am I in a Prius yet, or do I have a truck? Neither. I don't have a Prius. How dare you? But no shade to anybody who does have a Prius. I drive a nice, comfortable Mazda. I can't reach Bo's truck. He's got a lift kit on it, for those of you who don't know.
I have a lift kit. I don't. It's standard.
Let's run through this.
If there's anything wrong with a lift kit, how dare you insinuate anything else?
The head coaching schedule for the Cardinals, here it is. Thomas Brown has been requested, but it looks like, per the waiver wire, that Robert Saleh's interview is scheduled, Bo. I would imagine, like Vance Joseph, it will be virtual. Maybe not, but probably, given the fact that they're preparing for a game this weekend. Is that encouraging for you? Obviously, Raheem Morris, Anthony Weaver, Matt Nagy, those guys are, let's just call a spade. They're unemployed, or they could, in Weaver's case, could be unemployed. They got all the time in the world to come to Tempe.
Right. No, I mean, this is encouraging, but take it with a grain of salt. I think the earliest I saw Saleh could interview is potentially Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
But trying to find concrete that he is scheduled and not just requested. I haven't been able to nail it down, but NFL.com certainly seems to think. And if that's the case, if the Cardinals just get an opportunity to talk to him, that's really all you want.
Yeah.
And you want Monti Ossenfort to really be the one to relay the plan and what Saleh could do, how he can take the pieces already in place, the third overall draft pick and the capital they've got going into this year and their plan for free agency, like give him some insight in how he can be the guy to lead this team out of the darkness of a 3-14 season, and how his leadership qualities, his ability to really kind of lock down the defensive side of the football, how that's going to be a difference maker here.
I think he'll take the interview. And I hope he'll take the money. That's my take right now. I think he'll take the interview with the Cardinals. I think he'll interview. I would love it if they lost this weekend and he interviewed in person with the team and the team moved quickly, because by that point, it's like, what do you have to lose? Now, I do think he will be an impressive guy to Michael Bidwill and Monti Ossenfort. I do think he will blow them away in an interview. And then it just is going to come down to, like, this team. Somebody asked me this on Twitter, and I was transparent about it. It's like the last several hiring cycles, like the Cardinals have been last to hire a coach. And you can draw, I don't know if for Wilkes necessarily, but not for Cliff either. So maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth. They outbid the Jets for Cliff Kingsbury. The Jets wanted to talk to him. They put the kibosh on that. They hired Cliff Kingsbury out from the Jets. But in the case of Jonathan Gannon, which we may or may not have known that had been done for some time, and certainly with Bruce Arians, I can't remember with Steve Wilkes, they took their time. They were last. And so I would be pleasantly surprised if by next week they interview Robert Saleh and they make him an offer he can't refuse and they hire him as head coach. And in the meantime, it's like, be active with candidates that keep you looking serious, like a John Harbaugh, but we haven't heard anything yet.
Right. And if there are, you do have like second round of interviews, don't let some of these guys that nobody's going to take seriously make it to that round.
Right.
That would be great. I mean, Ossenfort was just trying to be realistic when he was asked, like, what about the timeline? And if he was talking about NFL rules and all that stuff. But I don't think it is going to be drawn out like it has.
You don't think so? Okay.
Previously. I don't know. I don't get the sense of that. But Ossenfort strikes me as a guy that does have a bit of a short list that is going to, at this point, even though the first time it was the wide net kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
but maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Do you think they end up getting? Yeah, I hope. I mean, they handled it really poorly last time because of what happened with Gannon. They should have talked to him earlier. They didn't. I think you can chalk that up as inexperience by Monti. I'm sure he would admit that, and he's taken ownership of that. But like the urgency to get interviews with Kubiak and Saleh is a good thing. Maybe they feel like they don't need urgency to interview Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's only been requested for an interview by the Giants. He's not getting hired by the Giants. One would assume. So maybe it's, hey, we're gonna interview some guys that we feel like could be coordinators. We're gonna interview some of the guys that we feel like are atop our list, and there's a couple guys in between, and then we're gonna hopefully get a McCarthy in here next week if we feel like we have to bide some time.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. I want to be proven. I think this is Cardinal fans right now. Michael Bidwill has this fan base not in the palm of his hand, but waiting on bated breath to say we were wrong. Look what he did. Look, I am bought back in. And then there's a segment that are waiting for him to fail. It's just call a spade a spade.
Right.
You're
like,
not.
I knew it. He is who he is. I told you 100 times. I'll tell you 100 times more. He's a loser owner of a loser franchise. Yeah.
You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Raheem Morris, Vance Joseph, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't mean they can't work out long term. But just like Jonathan Gannon, like you could make the case from a non-marketing standpoint that Gannon, with a full offseason and a sense of urgency and coaching changes, could have put a better product out, I think, by default next year. But that wasn't the point of why you fired him.
Right.
Was it? The point of why you fired him was because of the optics of a season that cut so deep for Cardinal fans. They were done with him. And now you've got a window to win them back And that window lasts until you hire the right person. And if you hire the right person, fair or not, regardless if they're Robert Saleh could be the hire in 2 weeks and he could be terrible and it could blow up in your face. But you then would have the cachet from January till August to get people engaged with your franchise again. And fair or not, this is a business that has to be part of it.
Right. Look what you're doing. You got, these offensive players with the Kubiak hire. You've got these defensive players with this offensive play caller that you brought in with Saleh. It's like those are things that can get people in. Here's Mike McCarthy, and this is how he's going to get back to 12 wins potentially, or those things that you can just throw out there that people can't just completely disregard. Towards like, hey, we got Thomas Brown or Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy. We really got something. People are like, no, you don't. Contact me when next season's over.
Check back in after you have to pay out another coach. I think that's part of it too, is like, if you're Michael Bidwill and you're thinking that you have a chance to win next year, you can't look people in the eye and tell them that you feel like Vance Joseph could win in the NFC West next year.
Right.
Like, how would that happen? It's like, we think we win next year. Here's Vance Joseph, 10-21. Here's Vance Joseph, who's never put together a competent staff. Yeah. Okay, great. That's great. No, it's not great.
Right.
You're in a position to be, I would argue you're in a worse position than Gannon, because Gannon had 2 years left on his deal. You've got that, then times whatever you're having to pay Vance for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, Vance was part of a staff that beat McVay once. I mean,
I remember that.
And if you look at probably how many points that were surrendered by his defense, probably not going to look good for him.
Raheem Morris beat McVay when everybody thought he was fired. Give me Raheem Morris over Vance Joseph. That is not me advocating for Raheem Morris over Saleh or Kubiak or McCarthy, John Harbaugh, but there are layers to this.
Thomas Brown's getting a lot of credit for like what's going on with Drake May, but Thomas Brown was with Caleb Williams, the #1 pick last year, and we didn't see a lot of development from Caleb Williams until Ben Johnson got his hands on him.
Is Drake May coming here? If Drake May and Mike Venerable get to come with Thomas Brown, yeah, let's do that. Mike Vrabel's elite. Drake May was the 3rd overall pick. The Cardinals have 0 of those 2 things right now. Thomas Brown,
have the 3rd overall pick.
Thomas Brown is a stretch to be your offensive coordinator. If you get Saleh and you bring him on, you can sell me on that. Whatever, sure, let's try it. Because you got the main guy. If you hire Thomas Brown to be your next head coach, God help you. With all due respect. And Thomas Brown hopefully will develop into a candidate that is like, we're seeing with these other guys, that has the resume and it's worth touting. I don't want to hear, and I was poking fun at Jeremy Fowler on Twitter today, I don't want to hear about this guy's a future head coach in this league per source, per my agent who's texting me and I'm shilling for. It's like, I don't want to do no more of that. I need a head coach now. Can you get a head coach that can win games? There's a couple of them on the market that we feel like are pretty good. Let's talk John Harbaugh real quick. Then I promise we'll get to super chats. Noah's got a life to lead.
Also, who entered the declare for the draft today, I think is interesting.
Yes, that I do want to talk about that. So John Harbaugh, as it stands right now, is only set to meet with the Giants. John Harbaugh is in Peyton Manning, Sean Payton mode, where he is asking you to court him, right? And I do think if there's an opportunity where, as you mentioned with Kevin Stefanski, and if he wowed the Giants and then they don't want to pay the price to get John Harbaugh, then I think that would give the Arizona Cardinals a window. I do think that if Harbaugh and the Giants want to make something happen, then they will.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you saw the comments from his brother Jim today, calling him he's the greatest coach he's ever known. I want him to coach again. Is just hopefully not in the AFC, right? Hopefully in the NFC. It's like, okay.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So you look at the coaching openings. You got the Giants, right? The Giants are there. What other NFC teams are in there?
Let's take a look at the openings here via the coaching tracker. Hey, look, there are only 3 NFC teams and then 4 AFC teams. You can eliminate the Browns.
Yeah.
You can
I mean,
eliminate
the Falcons and the Giants are some big hurdles there for the Cardinals. Some big time competition for John Harbaugh. But like, if this is the test, though, if you're serious about winning, find a way to at least have the conversation with John Harbaugh.
I also think like a lot of the problems that the Falcons have, the Cardinals have. I listened to local radio, a hit for the Falcons today. Like Penix is not going to be in the plans for them moving forward. Cousins is expected to. They have no quarterback, and they pick like far later than the Cardinals. They're basically the Cardinals, but the Cardinals have the third pick. Now you could argue like the roster's better. They've got Bijan, they've got Drake London, they've got some nice players on defense. Sure, of course, but that's a lot of teams. A lot of teams have good players. I don't think the Falcons' cachet. I mean, like if you're a coaching prospect and Raheem Morris got fired 8-9, it's like, what happens if like we get a couple injuries and that's all we can do? I mean, Michael Penix torpedoed what they wanted to do there this year. So I don't know. I understand the Giants with their Super Bowls and Jackson Dart. I understand that the market, sure, but let's see those names one more time. I'm sorry. The rest of these jobs, no. Pull this up. The Browns right now are only interviewing people that were on Kevin Stefanski's staff. They're interviewing Tommy Rees, who I believe was their quarterback coach, and they're interviewing Jim Schwartz, who was their DC. Like they haven't put in a request to talk to one outside candidate. So the Browns are the worst job. I saw people from, I can't even remember where it was, ranked the Cardinals job last. Give me a break.
Right.
Deshaun Watson and everything this year with Shador and Gabriel. They don't have a top pick anymore. They're in cap hell. Their whole offensive line is a free agent. They're last. The Browns are irrelevant. You're not competing against them. You're not competing against the Ravens because Harbaugh left there. I agree with you. I don't think he wants to stay in the AFC. Try to meet with him. Give your fan base a shot in the arm. And then, like we talked about yesterday, if you can't hire him, then show Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak, we were in on John Harbaugh. We're only talking to the elite. We have a small list of guys that we feel like are going to take our franchise out of the gutter. And you're one of those people. It's all about image and perception.
Right. And it's not, I don't want to get into like one of those hang the banner for becoming a bridesmaid situation that we often see, right? But if you're one of the three teams that maybe is able to get an interview with John Harbaugh, I think that helps, right? But if you can make it to the next step, if you can get to a position where you could hire the guy, like you have to aggressively pursue that situation because John Harbaugh, and I kind of just tell myself, don't even entertain this until something comes out that would point to the Cardinals even being in the John Harbaugh business. But like he would help fix the Arizona Cardinals' biggest issue, the biggest issue that they've faced for so long that they couldn't really even get out from under outside of the BA era and the 2-year stretch where they went to the Super Bowl and they went to the playoffs. It's credibility. John Harbaugh brings instant credibility to your organization because of the 18 seasons that he had where he went to the postseason 12 times with the Baltimore Ravens. And it also would show that if the Arizona Cardinals are willing to pay what it takes and that a coach that had options chose to take the Arizona Cardinals and it's viewed as a very real job and that the job where dysfunction was once known for, that he could help maybe turn the tide there as far as that goes.
I mean, the Broncos dealt with this post their Super Bowl from 2016 until they hired Sean Payton. The Broncos were a dead franchise. The Broncos missed the playoffs from 2017 until the year after they got Sean Payton. And now they've gone to the playoffs with Bo Nix once, and this year with Bo Nix as the number 1 seed. Now, the Broncos had John Elway, and they had prior periods of success. The Cardinals' selling job is going to be much more difficult. And that's where, if you're Michael Bidwill, you've had to have known and had the foresight. If I fire Jonathan Gannon, there are people that are going to be in the coaching circle and the agent circle that are not going to like that. I know that's hard for people that like saw Jonathan Gannon and he became an enemy of yours, and you saw him at pressers and you saw the record, and it's like, I trust me, I've been there, I get that. But just from like perception, like Jonathan Gannon is going to get a top DC job, and there are people that want to see him succeed. And so it's like, okay, Bidwill and Ossenfort, you needed to be prepared for that. And the best way to show people that you're prepared for that is to pay them big money, because coaching contracts are guaranteed. If you talk to John Harbaugh, or if you talk to Robert Saleh or Clint Kubiak and offer them middle of the pack money, then you're going to get a no.
Right. And it's going to continue to pile on your reputation.
And it's going to continue this cycle that you've been seamlessly on forever.
Forever. There's no escape. There hasn't been any escape.
Monti Ossenfort, Bo, knowing that this is his last shot, you would think would sit down with the owner and say, Michael, we have an opportunity here to get this right, but you have to understand that the amount of money that we're dealing with has to increase, assuming it hadn't increased. We're not going to be able to get a top candidate with this amount of money. It's like that scene from Moneyball where Brad Pitt's begging the owner. It's like, I can't build a winner with this.
Right.
But you're guaranteed most of the time when you pay big money for a top coach like John Harbaugh, wouldn't it, you would think, and I'm not a billionaire, so maybe not all billionaires think like this. You would think that writing a big check for a proven commodity that ensured not only credibility when you're Michael Bidwill and you go to the owner meetings, or when you host Super Bowls and you do all these things, it's just like, don't you want your franchise to be well thought of around the NFL? Don't you want your fans to say, Suns are the second option in this town? Kenny Dillingham, that's a third tier. The Cardinals run this town, but nobody can say that right now.
Yeah. They're the NFL. They're the big dogs, right? And, the old adage, you got to spend money to make money. And we're willing to do it, because when we say we want to win, damn it, we mean it.
Right.
In a couple of these hires, with John Harbaugh being the top of that, is it helps you fade being a punchline. It helps you fade, the other things that have surrounded this organization for forever. And you start becoming a destination. You start becoming legit and relevant in the NFL circles.
It's funny, they do things where you're like, wow, it seems like they kind of get it with the jet and the stadium, and now this facility, right? They had to kind of be shamed into it, but it's like, okay, take the next step. Then the next step is putting the coach in place, and then you might wake up one day and find yourself, all of those things have come together to make you a consistent contender and to give your fan base relevancy and a prolonged period of success. Not these little flash in the pan, 1-2 playoff, appearances in 10 years. If the name of the game is sustained success, then you got to do what it takes. You got to pay what it takes.
Absolutely. There was a little draft domino that dropped today, and we'll get into how we truly feel. Don't want people to immediately get up in arms about it, because it's a polarizing prospect right out of the gates. Ty Simpson declared for the NFL draft. Some people were skeptical that even if Ty Simpson returned to Bama, would he even be the starting quarterback there next season. But according to Pete Thamel of ESPN, I believe that's who he reports for now, Ty Simpson received a first-round grade from all 32 NFL organizations.
Yeah. I mean, coming into this year, he was considered to be the best quarterback in the draft. His measurables are solid. He's 6'2". I think he's over 200 pounds. Here's what I'll say before people, flood the gates with bad press. The Bama team and the staff are not what it once was. Kalen DeBoer and company, I don't think are doing a good job. I think they get embarrassed. I don't think they're particularly well coached. He's probably better suited to stay at Washington. I think Ty Simpson would have benefited from going to somebody that could consistently develop quarterbacks at a higher level. I thought that was DeBoer, what he did with Michael Penix, but I think he is a top 50 draft pick. And with how things change and how people get desperate, Wouldn't shock me for him to be a first rounder. So does that mean I'm advocating for the Cardinals to draft him? Let's wait and see who they hire as head coach and OC and what they do with Kyler, which we expect them to trade them. The Cardinals, here's what we know. Unless you're getting Dante Moore, the Cardinals need to take best available line of scrimmage player at pick 3, and I believe they will. Either the best tackle or the best edge rusher. Ruben Bain or whomever, no issue with that. If you're telling me that the Cardinals fell in love with Ty Simpson and wanted a fifth-year option and traded up from 34 to 32 to get it, would I freak out? I would not. If Clint Kubiak is like, I love Ty Simpson, then do that. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, he should not be the 3rd overall pick. Of course not.
Right. We will not advocate for that. I don't think that there's anything he can do in the pre-draft process where we could change our minds and say that.
Yeah.
But is he a guy that after getting 32 out of 32 first-round grades by the league, if there's an opportunity to do what the Giants did for Jackson Dart last season, those sitting here and poo-pooing the idea of trading back in the first round, which he's been graded as, to get him, I'll let it play out and see how it goes and how he looks, rookie mini camp and OTAs and training camp, and then hopefully getting his opportunity to get in the starting lineup. No, it was like DeBoer, like Ryan Williams forgot how to catch the football.
What happened there?
Yeah, they didn't have a run game. Their offensive line was in shambles for the first time in forever. Like, things are quickly deteriorating in Bama. So as Noah does his usual, where he scrolls down a lot of super chats that we are absolutely going to get to, but we did this in a mock draft exercise just a few weeks ago, where we took a line of scrimmage player with the high pick.
Yeah.
Where the Cardinals had made their way up as high as 3. I think we were at 4 or 5, or maybe even lower than that, like 6 or 7. But if we took a player there and then the Cardinals traded back into the first round and took Ty Simpson somewhere around 25, 26, and I ain't going to be mad at that.
No. Here's what I'll say. I think that Ty Simpson, to me, is a lottery ticket. And you could, like, Darius Robinson went pick 27, right? Like, B.J. Ojulari went pick 44. Can we just have a conversation? Like, the 3rd overall pick, you need a sure thing blue chipper. Ty Simpson's not a blue chip quarterback. Ty Simpson's a lottery ticket that once upon a time was a 5-star recruit. You need a Ruben Bain. You need the right First, I got to learn these guys' names.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what the Cardinals aren't going to do. They're not going to take that safety from Ohio State. Can we not?
Caleb Downs? Why not?
Don't even. You're kidding. You're not taking a non-premium position at 3.
I know.
It's like taking a tight end.
I've seen multiple drafts where they're taking Jeremiah Love. Running.
I'd rather have Jeremiah Love than Caleb Downs. Safety at 3? Yeah, great. Let's do Vance and Caleb Downs, and we'll bring Jacoby back. Or we'll give Malik Willis $100 million, and then we'll just burn this franchise to the ground. That's great. Monti Ossenfort, I have liked all of his picks early in the draft. They haven't all worked out, but I have liked them all. Monty knows. No Caleb Downs. That's right. Line of scrimmage, please. Who affects the quarterback? Who protects the quarterback?
I'm acknowledging with Downs, he was a good football player.
Bo, walk us through coaching tracker here. Give us your assessment of where things stand, and maybe some predictions as it relates to some of these teams.
All right, let's absolutely do it. As we've started to see, the Titans continue to put together one of the most hilarious interview requests list we've seen in recent history, even though I think they spruced it up a little bit. They had Stefanski on there, and then I think they added Saleh. But outside of that, it was like a list of, like, Jason Garrett was on it. And there was some real Matt Nagy who already resided on it. So it's not much better than the Arizona Cardinals. But the Tennessee Titans, they continue to compile one of the worst, coaching searches we've seen, even though they've got, the top pick from last year's draft, who is okay this year in Cam Ward. They've got a high draft pick this year, and they've got a ton of cap space to work with there. So we'll see what happens with that. But, the New York Giants continue to be one of those warm destinations, I guess you could call it, as they are, had an awful season, but they seem to be one of those ones where it was the best of the worst group here, where they're in on some of these top coaches. Obviously, the media market, and you've got a franchise quarterback, or the makings of one, with Jackson Dart. So a couple interesting teams there. And then the Falcons also have a lot of intrigue, and the Ravens are known as the best team as far as this coaching cycle goes right now. Also, a little thing came in as far as what's going to be the status of Matt LaFleur if he puts up a bad performance against the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals aren't going to make a move before this weekend anyway. That would only kind of that would open up another really top destination in Green Bay. Probably just be slotted right behind Baltimore as the top destination, and then put another all-star candidate on the market. But, that seems like a long shot to me.
Yeah, it would cancel it out. Like, what we don't need to have happen is for LaFleur to lose his job like Harbaugh, and then these guys to sit a year, because then it removes the candidate while making the top job available. Matt LaFleur is not getting fired. Matt LaFleur, I mean, that team, they didn't have their quarterback. Micah Parsons went down. Like, just pay Matt LaFleur. So you got to hope that these guys, either if they get fired, want to keep coaching, or they stay put. I don't know why coaches can't get fired in the NFC West. All right, let's jump into it. 38 super chats. We're doing them all. $1.99. All new reports say AZ is the worst head coaching opening. The worst. $1.99. How is it worse than the Browns?
Right.
Somebody explain
They'll
that.
say the defense. They'll say that they had a really good defense.
Oh, come on.
But as far as what they have offensively, we'll see what status of Judkins is coming back. And Fannin is a good young tight end. But you got Trey McBride. You can't sell me that the Browns is a better destination than the Arizona Cardinals. I thought Chase Daniel did a good breakdown. He had the Cardinals at 5. I think they're somewhere around 4 or 5 as far as this goes. Middle of the pack. But thank you, Plex. How about AZ Texan jumping in? If you know, Bidwill needs to lift the curse from this team and give Pottsville their 25 championship back. It's the only way the Cardinals will ever lift the Lombardi. Either that or selling the team.
Yeah, the Pottsville curse. We broke that down a lot our first year here at PHNX Sports. But I mean, your average Cardinal fan. Yeah, we did. We were thriving at that time. That's why. The Pottsville curse is 1925 championship. I would say 99 out of 100 Cardinals probably couldn't name a championship that the Cardinals have won. So I don't know why they're hanging on to that. The Bidwills weren't alive, and the Cardinal fans aren't familiar with that. Yeah, just give it back to them. Thank you so much for that $20. Yes. Shaft earlier. I don't want to miss these. Back-to-back $10, Bo. Here's my updated choice for head coach. We're going to hire Chris Shula from the Rams. He didn't have an interview yet. And immediately bring Mike LaFleur with him. Mike LaFleur is the Rams OC. He would come with Shula. Here's another $10. Rams can't block Mike LaFleur since he calls plays. McVay currently does that. This will be a big blow to the Rams, and Chris has been with Sean for 8 years, and he knows McVay inside and out. Thoughts? I like that more than the candidates that I've seen them bring in over the last 2 days, minus the 2 heavy hitters. Yeah. I think surely Ossenfort knows that they have to hire somebody from the NFC West. Surely he gets that. And so I'm about that.
It's in line with a Saleh move. It's in line with a Kubiak move. It weakens one of your rivals, even though McVay's shown the ability to just retool as far as his coaching staff. He's so dialed in that. But, some good suggestions there from our guy, Schaff, who made him way early today. How about a guy, Iron Will, jumping in? Harbaugh is one of the elite head coaches. I've never seen one of those types of leaders running the NFL Cardinals. Best of luck in this.
I know. It's a stretch. It's a pipe dream until it's not. I think that they've had windows, too. After Arians left, you had windows where people you were well thought of, and you hired Steve Wilkes. I mean, you had windows. Ken Wisenhunt to Bruce Arians is about as good as it gets, right? They have gone downhill, and I thought with Cliff, you had a moment where you're like, okay, this is the guy, and then it wasn't quickly. I mean, Gannon had that last year to this year. It's could you ever imagine things happening like this for Gannon. I know we've talked about that so many times, but I applauded the fact that they gave Gannon and Ossenfort 5-year deals. Like Bidwill does things like that behind the scenes where you're like, okay, this is great. This is going in the right direction. Gannon was a hot commodity. He was talked about in league circles. Houston wanted him. Then they had to go to D'Amico. He wanted to come here. The Cardinals paid him well, 5-year deal. Stop acting like a mom and pop store now, though. Let's stay aggressive. Be aggressive.
Our guy, no pump fake jumping and no pump fake fishing. Bring Harbaugh in. Give him some grow sciences hash.
Wow. Interesting.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either, but maybe he likes it. Maybe you can hook him up if he comes here. No pump fake fishing. How about this? Spencer 199. Albright said Harbaugh wants his own GM. Take AZ out. We'll see if that happens.
I mean, if it becomes a sticking point. Yeah, I don't. Do you think Harbaugh wants his own GM? Who can provide that?
No one.
Open spots.
Only Atlanta.
Jim Harbaugh was like, "Hey, thanks for reaching out, person. I don't want you in your position. I'm going to bring my own." So I don't know if that's something that I know Harbaugh is going to be able to drive a hard bargain, but I don't know if that's possible right now. Libertarian Sasquatch, Cards not only need a coach, but they also need an optics win.
I agree with that. And that's where, like, as much as we are Gannon stains, what I think
Stains?
Stain. We stain, stains.
Okay.
As the kids say. The optics, like, for people in Gannon's camp, like the optics of a 3-win season, like, you can't sell that to people. You have to give them hope, and you have to be able to show them there is a path toward winning. Even if you feel like in your heart of hearts, like, well, Gannon can get us out of this. There were too many examples this year of the team just like flat out quitting. And so, like, you need to be able to instill a hope and optimism, because this is the Cardinal franchise is not a necessity in life. It is a luxury to be an NFL fan and to pay money. Like, it's like my parents always used to say, is that a want or a need, right? Like, you need food, you need to provide your family, you need to have a job, all this other. The Cardinals need you to care about them and to just go on. Yeah, hey, 3-14 into this offseason. See you guys in Glendale next fall. That's not a real thing. Like, so hopefully you would assume that when they fired him, that they turned around and said, we have to get Robert Saleh. We have to get Clint Kubiak. We have to get somebody of that caliber to get people to care again. Otherwise, then if Bo and I are saying this, you would assume executives in Tempe are saying this too.
Citrus, we're 2 days in and it's looking bleak already.
We'll see. It's early.
Yeah.
It's early. I mean, get these interviews in. Can these interviews with Kubiak and Saleh, and then get aggressive, and then add to the list. Do you think we'll hear any more names the rest of this week?
I think we might hear like one more tomorrow.
Okay.
AZ Moses, if VJ gets hired as head coach, can we hire the husband and wife law team to sue the Cardinals for fraud, emotional distress? Just asking for the Red Sea.
Yeah, I would love that. They're
Class
the best.
action,
They're the best
baby.
team.
Get together. How about Calvin? Bidwill is going to reunite McCarthy Rogers.
That'd be hot. I'd sign up for that for one season.
He ended it. The Cardinals ended it back in 2018.
Was at that game. Was there.
Wow.
They had a falling out.
The Chase Edmonds game?
Was there with my dad, and we watched Chase Edmonds score 2 tutties, and Josh Rosen beat Aaron Rodgers, and Steve Wilkes get Mike McCarthy fired. Yes, sir.
You think maybe we can ask them both together and say, hey, Rodgers, did you throw that game to get Mike fired?
Yeah, I don't think they'd want to play with each other or for each other.
Steel Fit, are they looking at no names because of McDonald?
Like Mike McDonald? Like they're waiting for Mike McDonald to get fired? I don't know. Mike McDonald, could he impress Michael Bidwill enough to hire him?
Who are you talking about?
No, I'm thinking Mike McDaniel. Excuse me. Are they looking at Mike McDonald? Was not a no name. He was the Ravens DC, and it was. Sounds like they wanted to keep him in Baltimore over John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So none of them. Go ahead.
We might be missing something, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
None
what
of
it
the
means.
coaches that have been hired in this division have been a no name outside of McVay.
Yeah. Evan B, GOAT rapper, fanboy Johnny.
That's right. Fanboys. We haven't been fanboys for a long time.
Yeah. Native trader Harbaugh was promised to us 3,000 years ago.
Never forget there was a member of this media market who campaigned against Jim Harbaugh the year that they hired Gannon. Good stuff. Good stuff. LeBron, $2. Good to see LeBron back in the chat. Harbaugh or bust would change the landscape of our organization, put others on notice. With coordinators without head coaching experience, established coach is a must. More talent than the Giants home run hire, and then some. Best things since BA. Can't argue that. 100%. It would be a franchise changer. And if you're Michael Bidwill and you're like, I want to change the perception of my franchise, which why wouldn't you think that? Then you need to get a meeting.
AZ Moses, John, if you come to AZ, your mom and dad can have whatever casita they'd like. Did I mention how good the Wi-Fi is here? Michael Bidwill.
Why do you think he said that? Do you think he was just put on the spot? Do you think
Proud of it? He's proud of it. He's not a father, but it's his dad moment. It's like when you have people over your house. Did you show him the Wi-Fi, son? LeBron,
5 gigs.
Harbaugh is the answer. We need a stabilizer here, and for the division, we have talent on both sides. He could raise the level of this team and be respectable. Said by Swagoo, pretty much, which I liked.
Cardinals they were in a much worse spot 3 years ago. People hated Kyler Murray. And the roster was XFL level, and the optics of the team were worse. And I think the teams that they're competing with now are very comparable to that free agency cycle. I think the Ravens are the Broncos of that cycle, and I think everybody else like very, very comparable. But you think Bidwill is concerned about like being left at the altar by some of these candidates? How many times did it happen last time? Dan Quinn,
yeah,
which you and I were against. So I think that's going to age well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's already blown out both coordinators. And you're after a playoff NFC championship.
Did you hear about like the executives were like telling Cliff like who he needed to be playing, and like there was the executives were trying to dabble in personnel. So I take that back. It might not be Quinn's fault, but it sounds like ownership wanted Cliff out. Who else said no to the Cardinals as a coaching candidate? D'Amico.
Yeah, D'Amico said thanks, but no thanks after looked like they're going to interview him. Who else was in there?
Quinn, D'Amico. Does anybody else remember anybody? The optics of Saleh, if they tried to hire him, saying no to go back to San Francisco would be the ultimate gut punch for this franchise.
Be tough. And also, if Kubiak did it, even though I think Kubiak's going to have some options here.
I think he'll have more options than Saleh.
Yeah, if he just goes back up to Seattle.
He won't. He'll get a job.
Yeah. Bees. Jobo, what's your take on Clayton Adams as head coach? I like it.
How do you feel about that?
He'd really have to build a great staff. You probably get your offensive line back in a working order, but what do we know about, Adams as far as leader of men, commanding the entire locker room? Who would his defensive coordinator be? Who would his primary play caller be? Are they going to have Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. in a run-first offense? I don't know. I think that I really like the idea of bringing back Clayton Adams before this season, bringing him back now. I don't like it as much.
I like him more than Vance Joseph because you could just say respectfully, like, hey, this guy's done a great job everywhere he's gone. He's ascending. It's a quick ascension. It would be if you're Bidwill and Ossenfort, it would be the ultimate see Gannon, we were right moment if Clayton Adams came here and won after Gannon basically chose Drew Petzing over him. I don't think that optics wise that they're thinking that way, but it would be a way of saying, like, it's kind of like when Andy Reid got fired and then they just plucked Doug Peterson a couple years later and he won a Super Bowl. But you could sell me on it, but I'm with both. The staff matters. $4.99, Keith Davis, Bidwill family motto: don't hire the best, but we pass the savings on to you.
It's a good super chat, Keith. Keeping it going here. How about Jonathan Castro with the new head coach? Does that mean Nick Rawlis is gone?
I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know.
Okay.
I can't say anything more than that.
All right.
I don't know, though. I think that if a new coach comes in, if there are people who are still under contract are still here,
would they have the rights to Rawlis? Because
I thought his deal was
contract over.
Deal. I don't know if that's accurate. I think that could be something that might. I think that there's an insurance policy with some of those guys. I don't know that 100%.
Okay,
but I just remember where you heard that first. It was this podcast.
Okay. Petzing's back. This podcast told you so.
No, not Drew. Not Drew.
I kid. Edward Medina, Cards new coach. Fire in your gut. Did you drive? Did you take the bus?
I did. I took the bus to hell because this is the team I love.
Fleets. What if hiring Harbaugh is just another Pete Carroll situation? That's the fear. I'm sure that's a fear, but I don't know if Jack Harbaugh raised the son to do that.
Is that Alex Clancy?
It's 10 years younger than Pete Carroll. I don't know if all the reports are Harbaugh wants to still coach, and that's not a family that kind of half-asses anything.
Pete is legitimately an old man.
Yeah,
I think you could get John Harbaugh for, at least half a decade. Like, it's funny. We're like,
he took a 3-year deal. Pete was so desperate to get it back in, he took a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
and he was just like, "I'll take anything." John Harbaugh is going to have suitors, man.
We're all like, "Oh, can he coach until his late 60s? Can we just win one season, please, and go from there?" Bruce Arians. I remember sitting next to my dad when they hired Bruce Arians, and my dad was like, "He's way too old." Turns out he wasn't for Cardinals or Tampa Bay. Sometimes you get a sweet spot, but I'm with you. Arians had one already. John, will John just kind of be content? I doubt it. Brian Flores, head coach, Dable, OC. Not many OC. Shaft, I like it. If the Raiders don't want Flores, people keep saying that. Why is nobody talking to Flores? He's available.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good podcasting. I'm gonna check the internet right now. I don't think he's got one interview yet.
How about our guy Ranger? Yeah, Ranger. I had hope that this time would be different, but started to look like the same old shit. I hope I'm wrong.
We all do.
Yeah.
Really going to be, if we're sitting here, if Bo's at a press conference in 3 weeks from now, before we go to the Super Bowl, and you're sitting there and you're 10 feet away from Vance Joseph, play this clip back. Same old Cardinals. LeBron, $5. Clancy said AZ should not pursue John Harbaugh, who's the best candidate. He is smoking. What pack is he smoking? My God, faded. He talk about H price when it comes with it. He's his own. He's a take machine, and those are his takes.
What's his solution then? If it's not Harbaugh, who is it? He would not pursue him.
Interesting choice.
The guy's got 180 wins under his belt, 12 playoff appearances. Would give instant credibility to an organization that lacks it. But nah.
No thanks.
Pass.
Hey Vance. You want to try again? Hey Vance, come on down.
Maybe I'll text Clancy. What a dumbass take.
Hey, buddy, is your podcast done? You shooting at the wind? Shane Lame, $4.99. I'm imagining since JG has been fired, he'd been thinking nonstop about his decision to keep Drew Petzing. Got to be eating at him. We all said Drew Petzing is going to cost him. I don't think that he thinks that right now. I don't know this for sure. I'm sure there's animosity with the franchise and how he was fired. I think Shane Lame, when he's unfortunately moving his family out of state, I think that is going to hit home because, as Bo and I have outlined, you flip and fire Drew during the season. You get him out of here and you tell your fan base, I care about think about that. If he really got fired because of optics and ticket sales, not a good thing to just be enabling Drew and then going on local radio and saying that Drew called his best game of the year and you scored 15 points.
Right. You scored 1 touchdown in that game and 260 yards. It's bad luck.
Bad.
People are going to dislike that. They're going to tune out. Citrus, I don't think Bidwill realizes how many fans are ready to not consume the product next year if he doesn't make an inspired higher fan base. Seems done to me.
I think he does because he fired Jonathan Gannon. But how long will he think that? How long will that remain in his psyche? I mean, is he going to get in a room with Vance Joseph and be like, that's it. We got to do it. And Monti will be like, no one else is doing this. Why do we have to do this?
Right.
You have to make offers to Kubiak and Saleh, assuming they interview with you, and make them tell you no to your face and say, here is generational wealth and control. Help us change this, please. Have the stones to do that. If you do that, I think you're going to get one of them.
Fleets is back. Saleh, Ruben Bain, John Mateer starting to warm up the parade buses.
Saleh and Ruben Bain would feed families. I don't even want to think about that as a possibility because there are so many things that have to go right. But Saleh and Ruben Bain just mauling Sam Darnold's ass next year and terrorizing Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, whatever, with Josh Sweat. I don't even want to think about that. What Robert Saleh would do for Darius Robinson. Please.
Keith Davis, Saleh is a defensive guy who had a bad record as a head coach. McCarthy is an offensive guy with a winning record everywhere. Why no love for McCarthy? I asked myself,
I mean, make your case, Bo. I would hire him.
I know. I mean, this is a guy that had 170 plus wins in the league. He's got a Super Bowl win under his belt. He also in 18 seasons has 12 playoff appearances, just like John Harbaugh. And you pit McCarthy, his resume, up against Sean Payton and Harbaugh, and people are celebrating those two while they poo-poo Mike McCarthy just because he's a little bit lame, right? Just because he's a little bit of a stick in the mud.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know, Keith. I'm with you there.
Well,
maybe Johnny's on to something. Maybe he's somebody that they're getting the interviews that they have to now, and then they'll set something up with McCarthy down the road.
They tried to interview him in 2018, and he said no, only because he was taking that year off. But that was with Keim. I would get him in the building so fast. I mean, he's come here and not had a lot of success. He's seen what State Farm rocking, what it looks like. He lost with Dallas, Gannon's first year. They beat him with Josh Dobbs. I remember that game. So and I think Mike McCarthy would take this job, don't you?
Yeah. I think he would.
Oh,
I think he would.
Hire him. Do it.
Yeah. Native trader, any hire except Harbaugh, experience, or Saleh Kubiak, who know the division, then Bidwill is just jerking around the fan base for the next couple of years, 100%.
I think Flores and McCarthy. Outside of that, you're correct. I mean, what was our 6 that we ranked the other day? That feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
Saleh, Kubiak, Harbaugh, Flores, McCarthy, and then there was one more. Oh, Todd Bowles, but he got retained.
Yeah.
So there's you got 5 acceptable answers.
7 openings. Shane is in here. He's back. This young team needs a Flores or a Saleh. These are my top choices. They have the juice with players.
I also think if Robert Saleh knew how much this fan base wanted him to come coach here, people would be fired up about it. Like the fans hated him with the Jets, and the media ate him alive. Like, come on, Robert. We'll have you on our show. People are going to be excited to see you. Don't go back to San Francisco and bow down to Kyle Shanahan again.
Yeah.
Come on, Robert.
How about Jonathan Castro? Do you guys like Bain over Bailey from Texas Tech?
As of now, watch Bain in the semifinal game. He is dominated. He's been the best overall player in these college football playoffs, in my opinion.
Both good options. I think Bain probably gets the edge as of right now, and he's gonna get the platform once again Thursday night, State Farm Stadium. Do they
against Trinidad?
Yeah.
Who's making just terrible decisions. Trinidad. What are you doing, Trinidad?
Yeah.
Shane Lame, 199. I was excited Monday. Then the coach list came out. Why get Shane Lame? Here's what my pushback to that. And I get that. Who have they not requested that you wanted them to talk to? Like, and then let's also assume that they're trying to talk to Harbaugh, right? That they reached out. Who were the other names? McCarthy, who they could still reach out to, and Flores, who technically they could still reach out to because he's out of the playoffs right now.
Well, then Shane just said he wants Flores or Saleh.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're going to try to talk to Saleh.
Yeah.
No one's talking to Flores. There might be an issue there. I don't know.
Legend Morris, do we actually have a realistic shot at Harbaugh? Thanks for all you guys do.
Until he gets
Thank you. You're welcome. All the above. Yeah, I mean, it seems like Harbaugh's agent insinuated that all teams with openings have reached out about Harbaugh, and now they're just trying to they're trying to hatch their plan.
You're going to think I'm nuts. I think the Cardinals' optics of living in Arizona would appeal to him. I 100%. I think you would have to sell him on working for a franchise that's never won, and you would have to show that financially you're going to do it. But I 100% believe that he would be intrigued with living on this side of the country and, you know, I mean, playing golf, and there are being close to family. There are pros working in your favor if you're Michael Bidwill. This is the football part you got to get him up to speed on.
Charlie Sinclair, our resident Chargers fan. If Harbaugh wants his own GM, does Bidwill do it and fire Monti? Would you? We pull a Jags.
1,000%. I would do that. That would see him Monti. 1,000%. But I don't think Bidwill could do that. I don't think like land that kind of a maneuver,
especially after the hug, man. Be tough. He'd be really looked at as a cold-blooded dude.
I'd have to have Harbaugh signed and ready to go, and then I would go do it. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm firing Monti, and then Harbaugh's like, oh, Giants.
Yeah. I like Jackson Dart. Shane, just give us what we all secretly want. Kyler, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. with Cliff calling plays. We will get State Farm rocking. You know what you want. You know you want it. Red Sea, bitches.
I would take that over Vance Joseph, Shane Lame, as crazy as that sounds. If I just woke up tomorrow and like Cliff was back and Kyler was back and they're just like, we're just going to try this fall, I'd be like, all right. I'd be like, we'll see. And then you're
right.
Like,
back to being the most penalized team in the league. No discipline, no accountability. Sure. All right.
Hey. The Cardinals under Jonathan Gannon committed the most penalties in the history of the franchise this year. They've always been a penalized team. That's how down we are right now for Michael Bidwill to do something. I'm cool with that. Let's just do it. Let's just have some fun. You want to have some fun?
Be moderate fun, not fun.
I think Cliff, second time around, we would be buddies with him. I think he'd be our close buddy.
It's like, I remember what you said about me. Jenga, need to trade Tip for a couple first rounders. Yeah.
Tip will go for about a seventh rounder to wherever Petzing lands. Congrats, guys. You played yourself. What a great pick.
Congrats to Corey the Stew, who's been a member for 2 months. Thank you for being such a loyal supporter here of PHNX Sports. It's all about sports over everything here. Love the coverage, guys. Here's hoping for some real change. Give me Kubiak head coach and Raheem Morris as DC.
Love it. Thank you, Corey. We appreciate your support. Shane Lame, 199. Sorry, but can we stop with Albright already? We love Ben. He'll be on our show this offseason. Ben is of the opinion that the Cardinals are going to struggle to land Saleh or Kubiak. And I'm putting it nicely there. But we'll see. There's, there's some coaches that are kind of connected, and there's concern with Saleh's camp that he would work for Bidwill. Now we'll see after working for Woody Johnson. We're going to find out.
Evan B, I'm that cockroach rubbing his hands together from Family Guy. If we get Harbaugh,
Not familiar with that. Is that a good thing?
is it good? Is that what it's doing? Is that the cockroach?
Yeah.
Good, good. Isn't that what your Star Wars guy does too?
That's Palpatine, and he goes, "Good."
All right,
Brian, $2. When do we get the K1 story about what went down after they trade him?
all right. How about Monti Ossenfort's burner? Do you think K1 starts for new head coach?
So
I
put out a tweet yesterday. We never got to it because it gets just lost in the ether. But you can double source me on this. They tried to trade him at the trade deadline. They didn't have any takers, given the fact that it's like mid-season. Yeah, you're good. See you later, Bo. It was like mid-season. Nobody had openings at the position. The money, they couldn't get it right. They shopped him at the trade deadline. Double source, take it to the bank. It's like you could tell like where the fan base is right now. Is just people are just like, I think most people assume Kyler Murray's going to get dealt this offseason. So they tried during the season. Monti Ossenfort tried to trade him during the season. So like people who are, with respect to Josh Weinfuss and Jeremy Fowler, saying Kyler could come back with the coaching staff. Why on earth would they leak it to those guys that could happen? So they can put out a PR spin that, like, if a team wanted Kyler and they're like, we'll just wait for the Cardinals to cut him. Oh, they're going to keep him. Okay. Well, maybe
we might keep him. Yeah, we might keep him.
Let's get serious, guys. They're trying to get a day 2 pick for him.
Joey Kennedy, excited for a gross offseason, boys. Much love. Joey Kennedy, huge Kyler Murray supporter. No, we'd like to see that, but yeah.
I don't want it to be gross. We thrive in gross. We're feeling pretty gross right now. I'd love like a white collar off season, like the perfect head coach lands to us. Dante Moore's available at 3, and everything. The vibes are elite, right? But we don't deserve it. We'll be in the mud.
Shaft. John Harbaugh has 12 playoff appearances in 18 years. The Cardinals have 11 in 106-year history. Do I need to say that anymore? Who would be his OC?
Todd Monken.
Yeah.
They wanted him to fire Todd, and he's like, I'm not doing that. And they're like, all right, you're fired. So I would imagine Todd's going to be his OC. Charles, $4.99. As long as you stay away from Jesse Minter, I hope it goes well for you. We need Jesse Minter to kind of fall on one of these grenades, Charles. He needs to go and get one of these jobs. So
unfortunately, Mentor's not getting much more run outside of the Ravens.
Charles, I think Jesse Minter is a fine coach. Jim Harbaugh runs that franchise. It's like how I feel about Sean Payton.
Right.
Like, I think you could get a Jesse Minter any year. Remember who found Vic Fangio? It was Jim Harbaugh once upon a time. Like, got him juiced up as a top DC. I wouldn't be worried if I lost Jesse Minter, Charles.
Carp Fish, as of now, what are your predictions for head coach?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this now. I'll say my prediction for the head coach is somebody they haven't interviewed yet or requested an interview with yet.
Okay. All right.
Like the first time.
He's going to be a strong leader.
Thanks, Albert.
That's what Monty said too on Monday. Okay.
As opposed to what, a weak leader?
It's like you want the head of your franchise to be able to lead well? Strange.
Good thing you can kind of draft, Monty, because those predators, those are bad.
AZ Moses, for what it's worth, Harbaugh has not scheduled any interviews yet.
Will he interview, or will he just take a job?
I think he'll interview.
You think so, or will he be courted?
I'll probably do like what Peyton did.
Like if they hired Mike McCarthy in 2 weeks, I think people would be fired up, don't you?
Moderately.
Okay. You have a good pulse of the fan base.
I'm with who was it? Who was it a couple super chats ago. It was saying that we didn't get why McCarthy doesn't get that much love.
Yeah.
But, it still wouldn't get it.
He's exactly what this franchise needs.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But like, is the fan base going to get amped off of it? Moderately.
Why?
Because that's what Mike McCarthy is. That's what he provides.
He's a big teddy bear. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
LeBron, $2. JV, do another Fascinations promo, please. Love the pod. I'm not going to do that, but I will say I was driving. I didn't know how like prevalent they were in the Valley. I was driving around with my wife, and I'm like, check out that place. And she's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, they're a sponsor of the show. I'll do the next one, though. Trust me. Maybe I'll do the unedited version. That's Bo's favorite.
There is an edited version that hit the cutting room floor right before air. AZ Cats. Hopefully, Bo choking during the show is not foreshadowing for the Cardinals head coach search. Very possible.
It is. Who's your prediction? I said somebody not on that list. Who's your prediction? I'm not getting you off that easy.
I think it's probably somebody on the list. I just hope it's one of the top tier guys, like a Saleh or a Kubiak.
If it's not, who is the most likely option outside of those two guys?
Really, you're gonna press me after you just kind of hid from that question?
No, you can agree with my take that it could be somebody else.
Yeah, probably somebody else, not in that group. If it's in that group, it's probably Raheem Morris.
Okay. Well, I don't want to end the podcast on that note, but tomorrow's a new day. Cool, bro. 199. Johnny, what relationship analogy are the Cards in right now? With like me or like a coach? I think they're available. Looking.
They just broke up.
Yeah.
They don't have any prospects. They
don't have any prospects.
They had a dwelling with their old partner, and now they're back living with their parents. Mm-hmm. And I think they might have just lost their job too. So things aren't going well.
It's about as bad as it can get. LeBron, $2. Does John join if he can work with K1? No, that will not be an option. John Harbaugh is going to pick. John Harbaugh would pick his GM. He'd pick his quarterback. He'd pick his office. He'd pick everything. He'd come here and it would be like, Bidwill, you let me do whatever I want to do. And John Harbaugh isn't going to work with Kyler Murray.
I think what they really wanted you to get to was where I pushed you into with the Joe Burrow discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, where you were saying like the Cardinals are not a viable suitor for Joe Burrow. That's what type of analogy they wanted you to give right now.
Gotcha. We've done 6 hours of shows in 3 days. I don't know if I can conjure that up here, but I'm ready. I'm ready to do. Noah's telling me we got a Wildcats podcast coming up. Check it out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. We're standing by for emergency pods. I'm ready to do a late night emergency pod with this man to my right. I'm ready.
Me too. Fire me up.
Yes.
I'm ready to wake Noah up in the middle of the night, call him up, say, hey, get the show ready because we're going live. But unless something happens, barring any breaking news, we're not going to be live again until tomorrow at 4:30. But we are live again tomorrow on Thursday for the first time since the beginning of the season because no days off for this humble little podcast. Big thanks to everybody in your super chats. You guys continue to crush it. Big thanks to all the likes and the subscribes out there. Cool, bro. Have the Cardinals taken a shower? I think they've at the very least taken a shower.
Now it's time to pick a new wardrobe. Let's not go shopping off the rack.
That's right. Buy that gym membership. Let's get it going. Let's get back out there. Put yourself back out there, Cardinals, but have some standards. Have some standards. Don't go till last call at the bar. Let's find a nice partner here.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Get us to 50,000 subscribers for Noah Bo. I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you at 4:30. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.